Probably gas.
Ah, there you go. So until this album goes
Oh,
up.
yep, there it is.
Now you're
I told
good.
Linda, I said, take
Okay.
the progress. That's just not worth the effort.
Exactly.
Not at this point.
Exactly.
All right, so any public comments? Is there anybody online?
Not seeing anybody
There's
on there.
nobody here, so no public comments. Can we approve the minutes from last meeting?
Make a motion to approve the
I
minutes.
second that. I did read
Neither
them.
of
I
us were here,
second
but we
that.
did
and-
read them.
Yeah, I did. I did read them.
You drove around, looked at the place.
Yeah, motion second.
Yeah, I did. I seconded it.
Yep, I was just writing it down. So I had to get my pen out, so. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, minutes have been approved. I was hoping that, Steve, do you know, has there been anything different on expert lawn and snow? I know that's not on here, but
No.
they're still working with them, everything's going good. As far as you know.
As far as anything I know, it's just,
Okay.
it's a work in progress and
Yep.
that's all we need to have.
Right,
It's all
right,
we
right.
need, yep.
At least it's that. And I with reading that, I was like, that's good.
Yeah,
I'm
they-
glad with that.
He's
He hasn't been
cooperated
staying
with
there.
the
or he hasn't-
contractors and he's got new contractors in there and with the
Nice.
building inspector, he's been in there and they've made arrangements for them to continue to work and get that
Very nice.
taken care of. So
Very
they're
nice.
they're
They
in some
haven't-
kind
Thanks
of
for bringing me
agreement.
up to speed on that one.
Yeah.
So
Well,
for
that's why I
us
was-
as a planning commission, we are just sitting back to say,
Yep.
if they end
You
up
guys
saying
weren't here last
everything's
time.
good,
Yeah.
then, it goes from there.
Right.
So
No, thank you. I do appreciate that, guys. Thanks for bringing that up because I did read it and I was very thankful to see that, really.
And I noticed that being across the street, that he hasn't been working out of it like at all. So
yeah, I went by a
He's
few
been
times.
pretty
It's pretty desolate.
talkative,
It's quiet. So right now, like I say, that's between them and the,
And the
Yeah.
county.
And the
he
county.
definitely
All that.
is making the effort.
well, and that's
Good.
what we asked for.
Good.
So that's good.
Perfect, perfect. All right, so then to the items of business, 114 North Lang. That is the car wash.
Okay,
That is.
okay. The old car wash
The
down
old
there.
car wash that has the dog
Sure.
wash in it. The guy, Matt Crippen called the city, he's interested in selling it, wanted to give the city first crack at it.
Okay.
Okay, at the last city
Should-
council meeting,
Price, he doesn't have a price.
well,
sheet.
no, yeah, I don't think so. The last city council meeting, it was decided that, correct me if I'm wrong, planning commission would start thinking what to do with it, coming up with ideas. The
Right,
finance committee is going to look at dollars and whether it makes financial sense.
right.
So I just wanted to get it on the table.
Yeah.
Was really the reason for the only reason I had this meeting, right? Was to
Right.
let you guys know, hey, let's think about that and let's,
Okay.
Me in my head, I'm like,
and everybody comes to the same
Market.
farmer's market. Makes sense.
And honestly, that's more what I was thinking with this conversations that we've had about a pavilion. And that would be, I mean, that's
nice
gonna be your
lights and
water.
market,
I mean, you're gonna have
everything.
water there because it's already got the well and everything. So you would have water and stuff like
parking.
that. And you could have the parking. You've got right next door that you can make more of a parking lot or
Yep,
whatever.
yep.
You got Roosevelt Way that they can park on too.
A lot of it will depend on the cost. I'm
Right.
sure.
Oh,
absolutely.
I
Yeah.
believe that the reason why it was laid on the planning commission is, as a planning commission, as a group of people, what is your thoughts and ideas?
Mhm.
Just exactly like
Mhm.
you're talking about as
Mhm.
well. If they owned it, would
Right.
have water, that would give the
Mhm.
opportunity to have other facilities
Correct.
with running water and
Yep.
electricity is never the problem.
Right.
But it boils down to the bottom dollar, and also I want to reiterate and definitely stress that purchasing that property needs to fit into our master plan of
Absolutely.
overall
Correct.
purchases and everything. And
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
where I think really where we need to start it and then go for a recommendation through finance and through the planning.
Yep, yep.
To
Yep.
what they see as an advantage and disadvantage, because I have no clue what he's gonna ask for that.
Right.
If he's
Right.
up into the big numbers.
Yeah.
Forget it.
Exactly,
If
exactly.
he's selling it as a business.
Right.
And as a,
He
make
might
money,
ask for a chunk, but he might just be wanting to get out
I
of
just
it.
want to get rid
Right.
of
He
it.
might just want to
Who knows?
retire because last I knew he was a retired man from the job that he did before. And this was just something that he picked up doing it on the side anyways.
So everybody I talk to says the pavilion, the farmer's market. I kind of want people to think outside the box and think of other
Mhm.
things. Just to, let's
No,
not
I
just,
mean-
let's just not go, let's do a pavilion.
Right. No,
Well, yeah.
and I agree, but Cause it's just like, Scott was talking about before,
Mhm.
even possibly a small dog park.
Well, see, and we've had questions and answers from public about why we don't have a ice rink,
Right?
things like this.
Cause we used to have
up
one years
here on
ago
top
when
of
it
the
was on
hill,
top of the hill, but they
but
never
if
did
you got
anything.
that down there with water, you have
Right.
accessibility to flood it, set it
Right.
up, do whatever. I'm not saying that's something to do.
Right.
I'm just saying that's one of the things we could look at
Yep,
as far as an idea.
utilizing more.
If we got 25 ideas and saying, if the price is right, we got all kinds of ideas
Absolutely,
now. It's a
absolutely.
matter of buying into it.
Right.
So,
That's exactly right.
Like
Yeah.
Paula's thing, she was talking about food court, you know, like a
Mhm.
food court with
Mhm.
trucks. It
Yep.
would be cool a couple times a week. They pulled in there. There's like some tables, some little dining area,
Right.
nothing fancy, but
well, I'm a firm believer if you do it or build it, like they say on the Field of Dreams, people will come.
Oh, yeah.
And they're coming
Yeah.
to the music in the park. They're coming
Oh,
to
yeah.
the movies. They're
Oh,
They're
yeah.
coming to the car shows. They're coming to the pancake breakfast.
Yep.
So they're coming.
And they
the
come
more
from
we-
around. It's
Yeah.
not just around the city. It's around.
It's outside the
Yeah.
city is where it's at.
We had, sorry, had a guy came to Music in the Park 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, from Detroit.
nice.
Saw one of the posts and does posts about the bands every
Uh-huh,
week.
uh-huh.
Saw that and said, we'll go up to Langsburg.
Where's Langsberg?
Yeah, right, exactly. It's like,
But no,
Wow.
that's
So
the
it's a-
thing. You put it out there, especially on the
Yeah.
web and stuff like that. People see it.
I saw Lake Lansing's Friday night one. I drove by the other day. Holy macaroni.
They do one every Saturday night in Hillman. They have one up there and it's a huge, the side of the hill down there. And they've got a smaller auditorium thing set up there, just a small little stage. It's packed every weekend
Nice.
up there.
One
So,
thing
yeah.
is the entertainment, and you have to look here, should be packed in a lot of ways because of the fact that the entertainment is free.
Right.
Yep.
And it gives you
Yep.
some place to
Yep.
go on,
Right.
if it's a Thursday or Friday night or Saturday night, doesn't
Yep.
matter. But it gives you a place to do, and if you go by that schedule, you can plan
Right.
religiously what you'd like to do for
Right.
the summer. It's just like right now, Bath started a car show.
Mhm.
And they have it every Thursday night over there in front of the dollar store, right in basically their parking lot area.
I've
of
been
that area.
noticing most towns have car shows.
They're starting to do a little bit more things like
They're
that
opening
again.
up a little bit
Yep,
more, yeah.
yep.
So,
Roosevelt Row would be a nice car
Dan
show.
O'Connor told me.
A little market up
I
there.
graduated from that, so I.
so
So
we hold that against you.
yeah, and you
We
should,
do.
you should.
I'm not gonna make no bones about it.
More so.
Hey, so did my
She grew-
stepdad, so that's beside the point.
She grew up there. I only was there for 2 years, so.
Now he's really putting up the defense.
That's right, I am, I am. So the other thing that I would say is, let's, and then we're not gonna solve this tonight.
No.
but
Right,
I
right,
wanted to
right,
get
right.
people thinking about it, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So, yeah,
Write-
if you
Writing
work-
stuff
yeah,
down.
If you weren't here, you
Yeah.
didn't know
Yeah.
until that's
Yeah,
the whole
yeah, yeah.
idea.
So
No,
the-
that's-
the other thing I think we need to look at is, let's look at other ideas, but let's also look at if we do a pavilion, and you guys have already kind of thrown out 2 or 3
Oh
things.
my God,
What-
mine's going crazy.
What if we make that a pavilion, ice skating rink,
Oh, yeah.
whatever else,
Right.
right?
One of those
'Cause
It's a
sprinkler,
multi-purpose building if you were gonna do.
Oh,
that.
absolutely,
I mean,
and-
that's
you know
just,
those sprinkler things that they just
splash
shoot out of
pads.
the ground?
the splash
Yeah,
pad.
You
splash
could do
yes.
it really small. Oh my
Yes.
God, those are fun.
Oh, yeah.
Now, how much land do we have down there? Any?
well, we got
Well,
all the property that comes
So-
from the back of the main street of the
To
buildings, all the
wash.
way to the edge of the car
Right,
wash
Right,
where the
right,
dumpster
mines
sets.
are.
yeah.
So,
So- if
And
we had
taking,
that, we'd have the
so, I
whole
mean, taking
triangle.
those trees down, it would actually give you more area right through there to put stuff even.
Right. Right.
Building stuff like you're talking about, having a small area that's just a small ice rink. And
Yeah.
honestly, if you do like part of the places have done, it's actually asphalt underneath. And it's just curbed asphalt. So then
Yeah.
come winter time, all they do is flood it.
Yeah.
They do, I mean, they do that quite a bit up north.
I've
and-
always wanted to ice skate.
And
I've only done it once.
But there with those areas, they
Ready
could
to
use it
break
for
my
roller
ankle.
skating, rollerblading, whatever else they want. You don't have to put anything else on it, but it's just a oval circle,
Right, it's a place for them to
It's
go and roll.
different use.
Yeah, you could use it for a roller,
Yeah.
I mean, in the summer.
Oh, yeah.
spring.
It's,
Mhm.
Roger City is a
Splash
big
pad in
place
the
that has that.
center.
Well,
I just
Yeah,
went by
yeah.
there, or not in Roger City,
I like the
sorry,
idea of
Millersburg,
Worried
I've
about
never
the,
been
by
there.
the
Yeah.
old train
Right.
station.
Ah,
But if it's those ones where it's
But
just water spraying out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't know
Yeah,
how
a
much-
splash
I don't know how
pad.
much that would be, obviously, but
Well, those are all kind of ideas that we
Yeah.
can all.
Yeah.
that's
throw
exactly
and-
right.
And then when you get about 10 of them out there, you may end up having to say, if we were gonna do this, we'd probably have to find out which one that most people would like.
Right.
probably do a
Right.
majority, like
Right,
quite
exactly.
a
And that's
few
through the
little
groups
things,
and the
but yeah.
affordability, but heck, he may want $100,000.
If he wants, if he wants an arm and a leg, it's not,
Right, it's not feasible,
Right, exactly.
so,
Some of it's still feasible though, because we still have the property next to it.
right, but
Right.
not for the cost.
but not,
I know, but I'm
Yeah.
saying like, we can still utilize that for certain things.
right.
Well, that
Do you know
opens up
how
a-
much, is it an acre?
It's on the,
It's what,
It's
three,
not even a half acre.
it's not? Okay.
I don't know
See,
the
I
actual
wasn't-
size, but I'm just
I
looking
was
at
just
what I
curious.
know I have and
Yeah.
stuff, and it's.
Well, I know mine's about 3/4 of an acre. And that's what I was curious. It was like,
if you look in the council minutes and
Mm-hmm.
you go down, oh, it might not be on there because it was on other. I don't know. I was gonna say Gail.
oh,
Paula had a whole list of the values and the size and everything like in the last couple years or whatever. So just like
Okay.
something to look at. Oh, right there.
Right there.
Yeah, the
It's sold-
SUV and all that.
Yeah.
It sold in 2004. I wonder why the big jump. It sold in August 1st, 2004.
I saw that, it was huge.
35,000, sold on the 27th of August, same year, for 62,000.
Yeah. They must have painted it.
But yeah,
he
something.
put that automatic car wash in. The other guy did.
Yeah.
He
Turk.
put the other, well, Turk didn't do it. It was the other
Right.
one that had it right after him.
Holbert.
Yeah,
Oh, I know.
before this one, because he doesn't even run, the guy that owns it right now doesn't even run the automatic car wash.
No,
He hasn't even, that's just a
he put
storage
the
area.
pet car wash. in.
Right,
Right.
but
which
yeah,
I've
the
never
one
been
that, the
to.
one that bought it from Turk's put in that automatic car wash that never really worked right in.
Right.
I never even saw it. I didn't even know it was there.
The garage door that's down, right in the
Yeah.
center, that's an automatic, that used to be an actual bay, but he turned it into one of them
That
automatic
must
car
have been like
washes.
the moment in time where I
We'll
was
turn it into
here.
an oil change place.
I could do that
Yeah.
too.
What about- Yeah. What about Dollar General? No. No.
You know, you go back to those garage door days. Throw up more garage doors.
So,
over
yeah.
there.
So think about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
Next meeting will, if it progresses, I mean, maybe
Right.
by the next meeting, finance committee will go, oh, you wanted $300,000 for it.
Right,
You
right.
have to
Yeah.
consider that, because that goes on around here pretty heavy.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
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 And the surge of selling homes and businesses getting double the money is pretty much dying out.
Yeah, it's starting to dwindle now.
Yeah, it's sizzling.
Yep.
So,
Okay, anything else on that? Any other items that we want to talk about?
I would like to bring up and these two would not probably know the subject. I don't know if I can find it. We were addressed last month with a letter.
Mhm.
And the letter pertained to the fact of Josie Lane and the subdivision. up
Yeah, I
front.
drove over there.
And people have what somebody considers an access of trailers, so forth, so on their property. Camping trailers supposedly where people are staying in them or set up like you are.
For extended periods.
Right. It's not just. the day.
Uh-huh.
One item that is on the street, to me, it looks like they've got a car backed up to it to make it look like it's hooked to the boat. I drove up and stopped.
The boats, there's no car in front of it right now.
So the boat's sitting there and it has never been moved, so I don't believe we have enough teeth for us to really stress the fact that people cannot park their vehicles on the street, and especially ORV vehicles that they leave overnight, day after day after day. You know, we got all kinds of people that are doing different things in life. We're gonna allow them to have trailers. They're here, they're not here, they're here, they're not here. And that's fine, because it's always, to me anyway, it's always a constant turnaround, because one project's done and somebody else comes in. But
Absolutely.
I call
What
it,
it
in my
says.
case, I call it accumulation of too much. If I have accumulated too much, then I have no place to put it. And unfortunately, I have the property I can use, but if not, I'd be happy to get rid of everything I have.
Right.
Because I have no place to park it, right, unless I put it in my backyard. Well, that's fine. That's where it belongs. And that's where boats, campers, and all
Right.
that, if it's accessible, need to be stored, not to be sitting in the front yard for 7 months at a time.
I think the other thing they said was semis.
Pardon?
Semis,
They talked about semis and business trucks. Now, I didn't
Business trucks,
see any semis when I was there. I did
A
see,
couple times I would, I haven't, but
So I
obviously
haven't
they're
seen a
there. if they've
semi
been
out
noted.
there. I've just seen one on First North,
okay, say I haven't even seen that. one.
but I think it was just there overnight, sitting in front of somebody's house,
No.
you know.
I think what they said was somebody parks their semi and then they get up in the morning and drive out and it wakes them up because it's so loud. I know, it was a business or business truck or something, right?
Well, the point on the semi is, I know several years ago, we went through this, and if they've got the room on their own property, I believe they can park it there if it's a certain distance off the road, because we talked about the place up on Shiawassee Street. for a long time.
Right.
But don't quote me on that. I'm just bringing it back up because we did have a member go snap some shots so that we could. all
That was the
see 'em.
pictures that I got.
Right.
Okay, okay.
Of what's going on. Now, one resident had a couple trailers and a travel trailer and a regular covered trailer. I don't know if I see an issue with this.
Right.
Because he's parked in front of his pole barn. If he owns a property, I don't
Right.
see how we can do anything with that. But on the street, we've got an issue going on.
Street is a whole different thing, you know, absolutely. It's just in the summertime, it's okay to park on the city streets, the curb streets overnight, but long parking is a whole different story when it's not a moving vehicle, I
Right,
think is the big thing.
right. It is not a motorized vehicle
Right.
that is movable. It
Right.
has to have a
Two
motorized
wheels.
vehicle to move.
Right.
So I just wanted to bring that up because
Yeah.
we did hash this a little bit last month, but it was just preliminary.
Okay.
And this is once again that something we need, in my opinion, need to keep in consideration. That are we going to do something or just ignore it? Are we going to give the chief some kind of a bite?
I
what
don't
he
think
would
we
need?
should ever ignore stuff.
Right,
Ignoring it is why we got it right there,
right.
right now.
Absolutely.
I mean.
Yeah.
It's, and I'm not trying to be prudish, because I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people probably have called here about, well, how come you're gonna have that stuff there?
Yeah.
And there's nothing on the property. Well, there's 5 acres there with
Yeah.
that house, so.
Right.
You know.
Right, it's part of the house.
Right,
Right.
and so that's the whole thing, you know.
The other thing that we talked about last time was multi-driveway
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
houses. And how we want to enforce them. Do we want to enforce them?
I'd like to get a list of the ones that are grandfathered in, because I don't wanna, I'm sure Paula has that.
Yeah.
But we don't wanna like go to them and be like, try to enforce it, and they've had it for 30 years. Obviously, we would probably see it.
Well, the ordinance was probably wrote in the last 20 years.
I think 2017, 2015 was when I think they said the ordinance was.
Okay, well, I knew it wasn't that long, and I knew that it was probably in the time that I've been here, just because of the coverage of everything. There was a lot of things that we had to relook at and figure out, because society's changing.
Oh,
The laws are
absolutely.
changing,
I
the
know,
world's
absolutely.
changing, so
Yeah.
Mhm.
it's not the 1950s anymore. I wish it was.
But yeah, kind of drive around and look at that. I mean,
There's not a lot of them left. There's not a lot of them in town. I mean, there's a few.
No, most of them are scattered, and most of them are heavy where they think maybe no one ever seen them.
Right.
And they do it. I mean, I
Does mine
understand that.
count if it, has been widened.
No,
Now, see what they're doing, what we're looking at on the egress and ingress and egress is people are wanting to take a driveway that has a one way and you back it out. Then they want to cut their front lawn out
right,
and make a circle drive the other way. Well,
right,
it's their property, you can't really stop it, but the ordinance says that you can only have one egress and one ingress.
right,
And that means you can only have a single driveway.
right. So they just have to have a turnaround instead of having it
Unless.
cut out the front yard,
Yeah.
it'd be a turnaround area to be able to back up and pull out.
That would
Yeah.
work.
And we did talk about, and I'm just saying, this was all stuff that was threw out on the table,
Uh-huh.
nothing concrete. But people are starting to get a little crazy about the way they look at it. You know, their excuses or reasons and everything. But the bottom line of it is, it still comes down to the planning commission. Do we want to deal with it that way?
Right.
Or do we want to put some regulations on it? Oh, if you're gonna do it, it's on your property and you're gonna do all that, it's gotta be paved, all of them. We're not
That's what
taking
we're
no
talking about.
gravel, we're not taking no asphalt, it's gotta be paved.
Uh-huh,
Everything else in this town's gotta be paved. When you do a parking lot,
right,
anything's gotta be paved. So if you allow any type of a driveway, and I'm not saying that's the case, but to curb it. You have to
Right.
put some restrictions on it, and that's something to think about.
right,
Because we need to think about these things, because it's becoming a high pressure deal.
I drove, I said, I'm gonna disagree with you, but I saw a lot of
did you?
it. Yeah, so
See, I don't
maybe,
remember,
maybe not,
honestly, maybe I haven't been around town all that.
maybe not
damn well.
turnarounds.
I do,
Not turnarounds, but people, if they don't have a curb, they use their whole damn front yard as a.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and a lot of
Yeah.
people are doing,
oh, I
which
know,
is essentially the same thing. I mean, it's,
Well, the only thing is it's only on curb streets can we enforce
right,
the parking, not on any of the uncurb.
no, I'm talking about the two egresses. Turnaround, right?
Oh, yeah,
I mean, instead of having a turnaround, they're just using their whole front yard as a driveway.
oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, the whole,
And that's a touchy
yeah,
thing,
yeah.
but as people always comment, and I'm not, once again, I'm not throwing out rocks. The presentation of the city as they drive through
mhm,
is what they look at. And this letter that came was unsigned.
Yeah.
And usually I'll ignore it,
mhm,
because if you can't tell me your name,
right,
then who am I talking to out there?
right,
But the bottom line is, they did bring that point to see where we see and know that there are people parking stuff in areas that shouldn't be. And I think really, to tell you the truth, as far as the city, we're looking and hoping that somebody, the planning comes up with something through the recommendations on what they think that should happen with those. And when Paul is here, we'll get into it probably again more, because she's got everything, but just
Yeah.
bringing you up to date.
yeah, no, thank you, I appreciate that, because, yeah, I mean, I saw the pictures and everything, and I'm like,
What's that?
okay, I kind of get the gist of,
Two different discussions.
right,
So, I mean, one is.
Right. right,
So,
but even the driveway thing, I get what you're saying.
Mhm.
But that's the other thing where in the city, Mike can attest to this too, where there is not a curb.
Right.
Driving on your yard and things like that's always been a thing, because,
Yeah, oh, I get it, I get it.
you can park
That's
there
where you park
anytime
at
that you
grandma's
want.
house.
Yeah.
well, and that,
You know.
that is a problem
And-
in the sense of society.
Right.
Because we've always done it. Why are you changing it?
Right.
Well, we just put in $1 million worth of roads, and you're driving trucks, cars, four-wheelers, boats, and everything over the edges of it, and parking cars out, and it breaks it off.
There is that possibility.
Well, go right down to the new street and see where he pulled that semi up there.
Oh, I'm sure, but that's a lot heavier than anything else, so.
Well, I understand it, but you can't distinguish
Right.
one thing out of the other. You gotta go make it straight across the board. And that's the sad thing, because if you don't do nothing, you're gonna have it all the time. And it's getting more and more. I mean, you look around and you never see trailers move for years, like mine hasn't moved for 2 years. Want to move it, but
Mike,
I'm a
you're
little bit
making me
tied
feel
up.
bad. I've had my trailer out for a week because I haven't gotten it down to my daughter's house.
Well, we're just talking about the stuff out on Joseph,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
you know.
yeah.
but
Well, I'm
There's
talking
a travel
about
trailer sitting on Crum Street too.
if it's sitting on their property,
It's on Crum Street.
okay,
Oh,
well,
yeah,
then that's
it's
one
right
that
on the
needs to be
corner.
attention
Was
to.
it church?
No, it's
I
pretty
mean,
much
I
kitty
know it's
corner
on
from the
Crum,
church.
but
Kitty corner
Crum.
from the church itself, the Methodist church.
yeah.
And
I'm
the
trying
camper
to, no, what's
trailer,
that road?
It's First North.
First North, yeah.
and the camper trailers, it wasn't so much that they were parked because they were parked on the, it was that they were open like they were being used, right? And-
That's pretty hard to do because you gotta air them out.
Yeah,
Well, Yeah.
yeah, and the thing is, I mean, I did it when my trailer sat down here.
Yeah.
My trailer sat open all the time. You know,
Right.
just because I always
you want
have,
that.
you know,
All I'm saying is that's what was. in the
Yeah.
letter,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
But-
it was these folks came from the city, big city.
Right.
And they moved out here, getting that country feel atmosphere that
Mhm.
everybody kind of was clean and tidy and so forth, and it wasn't just the dump on area.
Mhm.
Now they're feeling like they moved possibly to the wrong place
Uh,
because of the way things are. And I hate for people to feel that way
Right,
because we try our best. We are a small community, and yes, it's been that way for 100 years.
right.
And then somebody comes in and starts changing things, and that makes everybody bad guys. Well, I tell you what, your work changes every day. When you walk in there, they got something different for you.
Oh,
They
yeah.
have different
Oh, yeah, you're
assignments,
learning
and that-
something new every day anyways. It
And
doesn't matter.
that's life.
Yep.
And that's the way society works. There's more changes in society in the last 20 years than I can even accept.
Mhm.
And I'm sure there's a lot of people that way.
Oh, yeah.
But we're stuck with it and we're gonna have it.
Yep. Yep.
You won't ask me to go ask your senators and congressmen, they'll tell you. Yeah, it's the way you're gonna get it.
That's all they say. I mean.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
No, thanks for that information too.
So
I
the other
was-
thing, I picked up, and Mike, you correct me and ask me this, is enforcement. Is that really something that Dan should be doing?
That
Or
would
is
be,
he is he our only option? You know what I mean?
he is our only option, basically,
Okay,
because he is our zoning ordinance enforcer.
okay, so that's. part of
So
his
if
time.
somebody is breaking the ordinance, it's,
What is the ordinance actually for, because I know in the wintertime, on a curb street, what is it, 1 in,
2 to 5 or 6 in the morning.
okay. See, I thought at one point it was 1 to 3 or 1 to 4, but it may have changed now. But in the summertime, isn't that different?
Mm-mm.
It's still not?
It's still not legal except.
Okay,
those hours.
That's what I thought, because I
Right.
mean, it used to be that way. That's what I was trying to make sure, if that had changed, that it was all the time now.
No, it's all the time.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't.
Okay, it's
to my
not winter or
knowledge, I may
summer.
be wrong, but I don't think so. It's an ordinance set. where
Okay,
There is no provision for summer versus winter.
Okay.
I mean, I could be absolutely 100% wrong, but I don't think that's.
well, because I know it used to be, especially, the curb streets because of plowing.
Right,
Especially Crum Street, that was a big thing. We had the signs that even went up Crum Street, and I think there's still a few there.
probably.
But I just, what I mean?
Yeah, it's a thing that they had to start. We had to start closing in on because DPW could never plow the roads.
Right, they couldn't get it all clean,
Right.
Yeah,
And people's
absolutely.
cars were buried and so forth and
and
so
they were
on.
lining and everything
Yeah.
else, and
Well,
And guess what? If you live in Lansing or anywhere on a street, you're
It don't
snowed
matter.
in for a week.
Exactly.
And if somebody doesn't get the snow plowed within the first half hour that the first snowflake hits, they're calling up here.
Right.
So, you know how it works.
oh, yeah, yeah.
So,
Okay, anything else? Motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
second.
Okay, thank you all. I guess
Thank
this
you.
ended up being